Hi guys, and welcome back to the Milk Round. We are on episode 17 this week. Unfortunately, we missed out last week because we were doing some exciting planning, Chris and I, on this new season, season two.
Season
So,
2?
season two, exciting stuff. We've got big plans for it as well, Chris, don't we? We've got really exciting plans in the works.
Many guests in the works, and we've got a cracker next week, but you're
Yeah,
going to have to wait till the end of
aye.
this episode to find out who will be in next week.
So keep watching, guys. Keep watching because it's a really exciting one to start off. So I welcome to season two. Last week we had a wee week off. We covered what we're going to work on for this season and how we're going to make it bigger and better for you guys. We've noticed sort of kind of trends in our viewing figures and went on from there where we're going to try and get a lot of guests in for you to make it as exciting as possible so you're not just listening to me every week.
And me.
um, which can get quite boring, I suppose, Chris. Um, if you can check out our other podcasts that are already up on our YouTube channel, if you can like these videos and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell for notifications. And if you guys want to get us on any other social medias like Facebook or Instagram, just to ask us to cover anything, these are
Facebook, it's Kelly Youth Complex Staff. Twitter, Youth Complex CYC. Instagram, Youth_Complex. TikTok, Kelly Youth Complex. And you can drop us an email at cycyouthteam@gmail.com.
Aye. I think TikTok is one of your favourites as well, Chris. I've seen you busting some moves on
It
that.
is. It is. I'm a bit worried about the recent developments in TikTok, where it might not become available in America and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it still goes on. I've got to literally tens of followers now. So there you go.
Well, I brought that up because last week I was actually on the Yuffie TikTok and just scrolling right to the bottom, and I remember the dance you done with your daughter at the start of lockdown. It was brilliant. So it was, you were right up there. Your timing was excellent. So it was.
I've been known
So,
to move in my time, Lee. I've been
nice
known to
snake hip,
move.
snake hip shitty. That's what they call you. This is officially season two. So let's make it exciting and big fireworks and Chris will do so much editing on this video after it, and it will just look amazing and things like that. But we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up just for this episode as well. We've got a new guest on who hasn't been on before, so you'll see them soon. But first, we're going to cover our usual sections, and we start off with a nice news story, Chris. So the news story that I found this week is, and I think you'll quite like it because it's music related, and it might be a person in a couple of bands that you're really interested in because it's kind of your sort of music. So there's a young girl called Nandi Bichelle. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a
Nope.
10-year-old British and Zulu drummer who is taking the internet by storm, basically. Her videos are incredible. She's an amazing drummer for being 10 years old. She's an amazing drummer for being a drummer. Like, it doesn't even matter what age she is, she's just incredible. And she does these videos where she's on the drums, but she just kind of looks at the camera all the time and she's smiling and she's got her tongue out and stuff and she's just loving it. She's jamming to it. But recently, Dave Grohl invited her to a drum off. Dave Grohl of Nirvana and Foo Fighters invited this wee girl to a drum off, and the wee girl beat Dave Grohl. So what he decided to do was write her a song. So he's written her own song and he's called it like her superhero song. Um, and some of the lyrics right here, I've got some of them. She's got the power, she's got the sound. Nandi on the drums makes the world go round. But this wee girl was like shot to stardom, so she is. So she's played with Lenny Kravitz. She's been in two Christmas adverts, John Lewis and Argos, and she's been on Ellen DeGeneres' show. Um, Dua Lipa, who is one of your favourite music artists, as I know,
Yeah,
Chris, has
absolutely.
invited her on tour as well, which is just incredible. So that's a nice news story, like a 10-year-old getting to do all that amazing stuff and just like for me and you, I think probably the most exciting part of that is Dave Grohl writing her a song because
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
unreal.
She
But
beat Dave Grohl in a drum off.
aye,
She must be amazing.
yes. So definitely look it up, Chris, because our videos are brilliant. They'll bring a smile to your face. Um, so aye,
And
that's
yet,
a nice
and yet again, Dave Grohl proving that he's the nicest man in rock and roll as well. There
definitely.
you go.
I agree with that. I agree with that. He is. You always hear these stories about him, like just being so generous to fans and being nice to everyone that he knows. And on stage, he does pull like a couple of wee gags and stuff, but like if he does rip it out you, he'll still be a nice guy to you after it. You know what I mean? Like backstage, probably. So that is our nice news. We just bring that to you every week because the news isn't the nicest right now itself. So check out the milk round news if you want.
I
If
know.
you want some nice news. Don't
It's
us
nice to
John
be
McCann.
news, you know? It's nice to be news. That can be our tagline going forward. It's nice
That's
to
on
be
the merch as
news.
well.
Yep,
Season
that's
two.
it. Yeah.
Don't listen to John Mackay or anybody like that. You listen to the Milk Round, Chris Ritchie and Lee Anderson. We've got it for you.
The reboot.
Aye. So moving on to our next section. This is a fan's favourite. In season 2, we're going to stick running with it and we're going to make it bigger and better every week. So it's what's on my telly and what's in my belly. A lot of people would have missed this last week because we didn't bring the podcast out. We maybe should have done one on social media.
Well,
We'll
we
maybe
should have,
do
shouldn't we?
that.
Should have just done that. Give the people
Aye.
what they want.
Aye. If we miss out a podcast week again, apologies, but we'll try and get in a wee what's in my telly and what's in my belly. I think that's a wee idea for going forward, Chris. Um, so we've not done one for a while, so I can't remember who went first or second
Well,
last
I
time.
think I'd like to go first because I'm going to seamlessly lead on from the
Oh,
nicest guy in rock and roll to the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I'm going to say, you can't think, can
would
you?
it be Tom Hanks or Leo DiCaprio?
No, it's Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, aye, he is actually.
He's
You're right.
legendary nice guy of
Aye.
Hollywood.
Mhm.
Takes his full film crew out go karting for days and stuff
Does
like
he?
that.
I didn't even
Oh,
know that.
he's meant to be a diamond geezer.
Right.
So I did say that I kind of follow up on this. So what's been on my telly this week has been both Bill and Ted Bogus Journey, which is the sequel way back in the kind of late 80s, and the new film Bill and Ted Face the Music. Now,
Right.
Keanu Reeves is a total diamond geezer, but I have to say it's really not a diamond film, I'm
Is it
afraid to
not?
say. No. So I suppose we'll start and work our way backwards. So it's Bill and Ted Face the Music. It does completely lean heavily on the kind of previous films and stuff like that.
Right.
Just to me, it's just daft, and I think it's probably something that he's entered into with both eyes opened, knowing that it was just going to be a bit of a daft film.
Aye.
To me, it doesn't really hit many the same kind of things that even the kind of first films. And actually, I have to say, going back and watching these films, so I thought Bogus Journey was probably the best out of the three, to be honest. The guy that played Death was quite funny and stuff like
Aye.
that.
Yeah.
And he reprises his role in the new one as well, and he's not
Okay.
bad. But actually, the whole kind of Bill and Ted's thingy, I think, is more like a nostalgia franchise for me.
Aye.
It's just a daft film, you know. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's out there, but it's not. I wouldn't say it was like mind-blowingly good. Sometimes, you know, you go back to these films and you think they're going to be amazing, and then
Yeah.
you get a wee bit disappointed in it, and you're like, oh, well.
Aye.
So it was okay, but the new film.
Nah, it's not there.
Not
I
very
think
good.
a lot of these kind of nostalgic movies should just leave it in the past, shouldn't they? Because I felt the same with Dumb and Dumber too. That was
Yeah,
like
I
you
never
got
really
Dumb and
watched that.
Dumber, one of the best ever. Dumb and Dumber, because like Jim Carrey is just incredible. As I says in the movies podcast, which you should check out. That's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But Dumb and Dumber 2 came out, and it was like years later, and it just didn't work. I think a lot of films do that. They try and bring out something that has been done in the past, and it should be just kind of left in the past as a memory where you can go back and watch it and still love it for what it is.
I
Um,
suppose it's just one of these things. It's sometimes it's very hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice, or even more than that. And don't get me wrong, I think there's modern franchises that have been able to do that, but I think they've went in with a plan already in place.
yeah,
Whereas I think back in the day, it was, oh, that film was really successful, we need to make another one.
yeah,
Whereas sometimes people are already going in with, this film's
three.
good, but I've got an eye, I know what we're doing with the second, and I know what we're doing with the third,
Uh,
you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah.
What we giving it then out of 10? The newest one.
The newest one, I would I would say that it's probably, I haven't looked up an IMDb, but I think a fair score would be something between the 5 and the 6
Right, okay.
out of
Okay.
10, really, on
Aye.
this one. It's and Bogus Journey, I would say, is maybe more in a 6 or a 7, a 6.5, maybe.
Right, aye. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So that's what's on your telly. What's in your belly, Chris?
So I'll maybe just come on the back of it. A Saving Grace, something that I've kind of been watching, just an old program. I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay, mainly Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. Now, I
Aye.
know Gordon Ramsay's quite a polarising figure. He's one of these people that you love or hate. I happen to love the guy. I think he's all his recipes I've ever tried are spot on. His cooking is, I think, beyond reproach, because
Mm-hmm.
out of all the kind of TV chefs, he slags the hell out of all the other TV
Aye.
chefs, and I think he's got a good reason to that. The
Mm-hmm.
guy's got like Michelin star restaurants all over the world. He
Yep.
knows his onions. Get what I've done there? So on the back of that, I tried a little Gordon Ramsay recipe.
Right,
So I'm segueing again, but as you know, I moved house recently, last couple of months, and on Saturday morning, opened the door, and there was a bag of apples and pears left for us. So and just a note saying, "Welcome to the neighbourhood. Hope you're settling in." I
Right,
couldn't
okay.
even make out who, because they just gave me their name. They didn't give me the number of house that they lived in.
Right,
So it's
okay.
obviously there's a lot of people who've got apple and pear trees about here. So
Lovely.
I thought it was a lot of lovely gesture.
Yep,
So
that's really nice.
I decided to make a wee thing out of the pears, and it was a Gordon Ramsay recipe that kind of put me in mind. It was watching Kitchen Nightmares. So I ended up making a pear tartane. And
Right,
I'll do my usual wizardry, and I'll kind of share the screen. Hopefully you're
brilliant.
seeing that now. That was my
Yep.
pear tartane. What you do with it is basically get butter, and you kind of like, it's already maybe just out the fridge 5 minutes, and you press it into the pan. You sprinkle
Okay.
it with sugar, and then you arrange the pears around the pan. So it's like a frying pan. It has to be an oven safe frying pan. I have to
Right.
add that. It has to be one that you can put in the oven afterwards. And you go to a medium high heat, and you start kind of cooking off the sugar and the butter and sugar in the pan until you caramelize it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you have to watch out with is you can go too far with the caramelizing, and it
Right.
becomes burnt and it'll become bitter.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing when I was doing it, because I could see it starting to kind of, the colour starting to change.
Aye.
And I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe watching the Gordon Ramsay stuff that was ringing in my head. Don't go too far with it. Once I started seeing it change colour, I waited maybe 30 seconds after that,
Right.
took it off. But because the sugar in the butter goes to about 300 plus degrees, so it's not one of these things that you dip your spoon in to taste. You
No,
will
no
burn
chance.
yourself. It is
Yep.
seriously, you'll get third-degree burns. You need to go to the
Yep.
hospital. It's one of those things. But the pan was still cooking, and the colour was still developing, even off the heat. So that's what I would say, if you're making any sort of caramelized type anything, if you think it's time to take it off and you're maybe not sure and you're going to leave it on, no, take it off, because it's
Yep.
still going to cook for another couple of minutes on
Aye.
top of that. So this is what you do. And then you've got your pears, and what you do is you put some pastry on top of it, and
Okay.
then in the oven. So, and then when you bring it out the oven, you basically get a plate and you kind of flip it, and you turn it over, and that's what you get. So I thought that was not a bad first attempt. It looks pretty
Aye. Aye.
good
Well
to
done.
me, and it
Yep.
tastes nice. You know, I'm not
Mm.
hugely into pears or anything like that, but I
Right.
quite enjoyed that one,
Aye.
to be honest. So
And it's came for like a nice gesture as well, which probably made
yeah,
it taste better. That getting away. Do you know
it
what I mean?
was.
Like,
I just
you know.
wish I'd known what I wish I'd known what the number of the house was, so that I could actually say
Gave them a bit
cheers.
of
So
a.
if you're watching the podcast right now, I'd like to say
Aye.
thank you very much. There you
Oh, they
go.
definitely will be watching it
Of
because,
course, of
like
course.
everyone tuned into Boris and Nicola last
Oh,
night,
of
they'll
course,
all
yeah.
be tuning into season 2 of the Milk Round right now.
The reboot.
The reboot up in the place. Aye, that's excellent. Then that's a really nice thing that someone's done that and you've got something out of it. Presents are always nice, but it's nice that made it into something else for yourself. So, aye, that's a good story. That could have been a nice news this
Could
week.
have been, couldn't it? There you go.
So what's on my telly this week is we've been discussing some movies recently. Obviously, we had the movie podcast, and before I've been speaking about a couple of movies that I've been watching, and recently I've been watching a lot of war movies. I don't know what's got me into it, but I was speaking about Fury, and we spoke about 1917 and things like that. And one thing I'm watching now on Netflix is The Greatest Events of World War II in Colour. So this is like an 8-part series, like 8 episodes, and every episode is a certain event that happens. So you've got maybe D-Day or Pearl Harbor or something like that, where they've got footage from the war, and through technology they've colorized it. And it's brilliant. I love watching documentaries, as I've mentioned before, about Louis Theroux and things like that. But this one's like so real. I don't know if that makes sense, but like because you're actually seeing the footage from the war, and there's there's lots of footage from the war that I didn't know that was actually out there. And it's been archived, but obviously people have brought it out for series like this, and it's just a great watch if you're interested in history and the world wars and things like that. So it is a 15 because obviously there's a bit of death and action like from the war and shooting and explosions, obviously things like that, and maybe more morbid things about people liberating concentration camps and things like that. So I wouldn't suggest people under 15 to watch it. I would say only 15 and up because the rating is there for a reason on this one. But definitely worth a watch. And I know yourself, Chris, you like history and things like movies like that, so I think you would really enjoy the documentaries
It's
on it.
funny you mentioned it. It's actually my wife has already watched it,
Right,
and
okay.
she keeps telling me.
Aye.
It's like once you've got a clear schedule, because I think I'm a bit hooked into Gordon Ramsay now, but I need to kind of hook myself out, because
Right,
it's
yeah.
kind of. But she keeps telling me you need to watch this,
Aye.
so that's 2 people now. I kind of need to watch it now, don't I?
Aye, aye. When it's one person, you can kind of go, aye, aye, I'll get into it. But like when it's 2 people and
Yeah.
it's on the milk round, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's what's on my telly. So what's on my belly this week is I've discussed a couple of things on the milk round that have been aimed at students. So I'm going to do that quite a lot in season 2 because students are back at uni, they're doing their lectures, and I never went to halls or anything, and I never stayed in student accommodation. I stayed at home the full time, but I was coming home between lectures or after lectures early on. Mum and Dad were still out at work. My big sister was still out at work, so I had to fend for myself in the kitchen. And a thing that was really easy to make in the kitchen, but can be incredible, is toasties. Toasties are amazing. I had one for my dinner the other night, and I was going to, if we did record the podcast last week, I was going to go for toasties because I had it the night of the podcast, I'm sure. Any filling for a toasty. Honestly, get your bread, and you can make it really nice bread. You can make it just bread that you've got lying about, like normal bread, whatever you want to do. Butter the outsides of your bread, that makes it extra crispy and extra greasy. You want your toasty to be greasy. Cheese always has to go on a toasty. You can't have a toasty without cheese. That is
Definitely not.
a rule. It's a rule of toasties. If you're vegan, get a vegan cheese substitute because you still need that melted cheese dripping in your face.
Absolutely.
But for a student, it's so easy. It's so cheap. If you are living in halls or living away from home while studying right now, but it's bread, a meat of some sort, and a cheese, and it's really simple. Put it in your frying pan, butter the outside. Remember, makes it extra greasy. What I went for last week, Chris, was I spoke about southern fried chicken on like just the frozen stuff. I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. Just put that in the oven first, cut it nicely into wee strips, put that in your bread, cheese over it. I use grated cheese. A lot of people like to slice their cheese for toasties, but I like to grate my cheese. I think it melts
No, I
better
would agree. Grate it,
if
melt.
it's grated. And it was my dinner, that, and a wee portion of chips beside it. But it was just up there. So that one's for students, and I'll be trying to come up with as many more student meals as I can remember as well, because it's been a while since I was at university. But I'll try and come up with more for the coming weeks.
What's the
Uh,
most bizarre toasty filling you've tried then?
well, I've never done It was Harry that done the super noodles, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, was that a rap maybe?
it was a super noodle wrap. It was a wrap, I believe.
It was a wrap.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
toasty filling. Most bizarre. Well, I used to work in cafes a lot,
Mhm,
and we had the panini machines, which were
mhm.
incredible for toasted as well. Like toasty and panini machines where you pull it down, it's like a griddle kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they were brilliant. So I used to see if I was in on a Sunday morning and I had been out on a Saturday night drinking some energy drinks.
Mhm.
If they had like a high sugar count in them,
Yeah.
and I wasn't feeling myself on the Sunday, I
Other
would.
energy drinks are available.
Yeah, we wouldn't recommend them though,
No.
especially before going to a 9-10 hour shift in a cafe. But what I used to do was just grab anything from the fridge and put it on a toasty. So there would be like Cajun chicken, um, burger meat sometimes, like just anything you can get on it, and then extra cheese. And I don't really go bizarre, but that kind of combination was bizarre. Like, and also maybe add like a bacon sausage into it, like a square sausage as well on it,
Why
something like
not?
that.
Eh? Just
What,
chuck it
what
in.
about you? What have you went
Uh,
for?
I don't know. I've always kind of stuck to the traditional, but I think one of the things with toasties, with anything like that, is experiment with the type of cheese that you use. So I
Right,
think sometimes like a brie and cranberry can be a really good combination.
right.
But like you're talking Emmentaler, those kind of cheeses melt really well in a
Emmental was great.
toaster.
Yep,
So Gouda, things like that. So those are great cheeses. Cheddar's all the obvious choice,
that's
obviously as well.
classic.
But
It's a classic.
I've heard people putting banana and sugar in a toasty.
Right, okay. That sounds quite American or something.
Aye, it
You know,
does.
like they have like their bacon and pancakes with sugar on it and stuff like that. They do stuff like
Mhm.
that in America. That's what that
Nah,
sounds like.
I
But
don't like bananas, so I'm really fighting a losing battle there with
right,
something like that. So
when you're
yeah,
speaking about cheese, there, a lot of people go for mozzarella because it melts the best, but it's not got the best taste itself. Mozzarella.
no,
So see if you
mozzarella has to be roasted in the oven.
throw, if you are using mozzarella for the meltedness, if that's a word,
It
it's
is
in your
now.
food. Throw some grated cheddar in with
Yeah,
your mozzarella.
absolutely. I would
Give
agree
that
with
a
that.
wee bit of salty kick on it as well.
Mhm.
By Toasties. So if you want a recipe for a toasty, hit up the social medias,
Yeah, I
and
think
I'll get
toasties are the thing to you that pizzas are to me.
right.
I think there's
Okay.
a wee bit of a quite passionate about your toasty there, Lee. So
Aye.
yeah, I think there's something there.
The toasties versus the pizzas. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's a battle.
And it's gone on our merch as well soon.
Yeah.
um, so this week, as I says at the start, we've got a guest to kick off our season 2. And this guest is someone we work closely with in the youth complex, one of our colleagues in the youth complex, and a lot of the viewers and listeners will know her. So we're going to bring her in just now, and she's going to do a wee interview with us, because she usually works with primary sevens transition in AS1 and does a lot of P7 work in the youth complex before summer. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do that this year because of COVID, but
Hmm.
she's coming on now to kind of explain it to the
Yeah.
P7s and the S1s
Yeah.
and parents and things like that who will watch it. So if we can
Mhm.
welcome on just now, it's
It's going to be
Stacey.
Stacey, so I'm going to try by the miracles of science to admit her. Stacey's also the Oracle of Castlemilk, so rather than looking at BBC News, just go and ask Stacey because she'll
Aye,
find it before anyone. So
aye.
she knows everything about Castlemilk. So any questions, please message us. So I'm going to admit her right now. Hopefully she's there. Woo!
And what else Chris is going to do is going to edit this part as well, and it's going to be all fireworks and stuff as well for
Oh
season.
yeah, absolutely. There
Aye.
she is.
There she
Hello.
is. Hi Stacey, how you doing?
No bad, how are you?
Aye, good. Thanks. Thanks very much for coming on. We're just discussing you a wee bit before this. It was all good stuff. So it was.
It's all good. You'll need to re-watch it
Just
before.
about to say, I'll be watching back to check.
We were just discussing what you do with P7s and transitions into S1 and things like that, and we're going to get to that part when we do like a weekend and informal interview. But first, we've got to ask, because we ask every guest that comes on here, what is on your telly this week and what's in your belly?
In my telly, I've been watching an old BBC programme called Death in Paradise.
Right, okay, yep, I know it.
It's kind of like Columbo for English detectives, if that makes any sense. It was just one of the things on Netflix that I've ended up now getting tuned into, so it's been quite good. Definitely kind of suitable for our members and stuff like that. So
it was really good. I used to watch it as well, and it was Ben Miller that started as it, Armstrong's partner. But he stopped doing it because they did actually they recorded it in the Caribbean, didn't they? They actually did go to the Caribbean island to record it, and he stopped doing it because it was too warm all the time on set, apparently.
He was knitting about in a shirt and suit and stuff like that. I think what is it, like Guadeloupe or something like that? It's filmed in. It's something thingy. But the guy for My Family tenure after him.
Right. Okay.
So
the big brother.
Yeah, the son. Nick he tenure for that. So it was quite strange going for that jump for him being quite kind of funny and quirky in My Family. Meant to be a serious detective, which is bizarre, but it's quite good. I've been quite enjoying that.
I agree with you, Stacey. I really enjoyed it, but I've got to think, how does a small island like that have so many murders?
I definitely am not moving there anytime soon, that's for sure.
I don't do that.
No, every week somebody else is dead and sometimes two, so no play.
So what would you give that out of 10? We sometimes ask guests that, like, just to rate it.
About a 7 or an 8, I think.
That's a good recommendation.
It's quite easy viewing, although everybody's dead. But it's quite good just for something to watch, to be honest. But I did eventually get into, you know how they all moan at you in the youth if you've not watched RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff like that. So I eventually watched that so that I can actually go back and say to them that I know who these people are that they're talking about.
Right.
So I'm kind of putting myself a wee bit more up to date, so I did that as well.
Aye, good. So our second part of that is what is in your belly, what you've been cooking or baking, or what you've been buying for the takeaway, or what you just generally.
Cooking. I done a kind of Chinese style pork.
Right, okay.
Which is dead simple. There's a sachet that you can buy from B&M and Home Bargains and stuff, and it's like a flavour sachet. It's like 39 pence. And basically you get your pork, chicken, whatever, you put it into this, it's a powder, and you let it marinate in that for as long as you possibly can. Usually 10 minutes is enough. And you just I just dry fry it or put it in the oven and I have it with a wee stir fry, but it's so tasty. It's like, see the red sauce you get with ribs? It's kind of like that, so that's quite a nice. It's not very saucy though, so if you wanted something a bit extra, it wouldn't be like having a curry sauce or whatever. That's the only thing I would say about it, but it is tasty. Get a try, 39 pence.
Aye, I knew Stacey would come in with something exciting because her stuff in the is always quite good when she makes it.
Well, me being a bargain hunter and that, you know, it's.
But see, if the viewers and listeners want a recipe, like what else you added to your stir fry and things like that, would you be able to send one over if they contact you?
Aye. So. If I make it soon, I'll maybe try and do a wee video.
Brilliant, excellent.
And I put you through what I've been using and stuff like that. But if I'm honest, stir fry for me is just basically whatever veg I've got, and I use a lot of frozen stuff, so it just all kind of gets flung in. Some 5-spice and soya sauce, and let's hope for the best. Because if you've watched me cook, you know what it's like.
Just throw it all in.
Aye. Let's hope that it tastes nice at the end. So that's my way of cooking. Brilliant.
So that's what's on your telly and what's in your belly. And now we're going to do, like we've already explained to the viewers and listeners, what we're going to do is like a wee informal interview with yourself, just discussing P7 transitions and that. And we've already told them, obviously, it didn't go on this year because of COVID. But you're still going to speak about it so that the people who are maybe in P7 just now can learn about it, or the S1s just now can kind of see what it'll be like when the youth complex,
when they get their chance,
and what's out there for them. So will we just go ahead with it? Are you ready?
I don't know. It's because I'm nervous.
You'll be fine. You'll be
fine. You'll be absolutely fine. But I mean, Stacey, you've been doing like taking the lead role in the kind of transition stuff for quite a while now. So, and as Lee mentioned there, it's not really happened this year, and that is probably internally in the youth complex, that's a concern for us. But it's just probably, it might be worth asking, why is that kind of transition from primary school to high school so important, really?
Well, I mean, for us, as you say, Chris, we've been doing the kind of transition thing for years. It's not just been something that's happened to I started working in the youth. I just kind of taken a different role when I started. So for us, it's looking at the change going to high school to secondary school is huge. People don't think that it's very big, but it is. It's massive for it, especially for the primary sevens and the basics. They've been with the same people for 7 years, you know, and then we're asking them to go into different classes and mix with different people and getting used to different ways of working and stuff like that. So my job has been to make that easier, basically. And the importance of that is that it alleviates anxieties, worries, stresses. It just kind of shows them what it's like to go there without actually being flung into the deep end. Because like when I went to secondary school, and Chris, you'll know this because we're the same age. We just went a 2-day visit. You went up there, you were with your school pals, and then on your first day of school, you were called into the big hall, and they separated you into your classes, and you had no clue who half these people were, and it was terrifying. So I think even if you're like a really confident person and stuff like that, that leap is huge. So that is why we do that in the youth. That is why we are so involved in it. Aye.
Aye, it is really important, like you says, and as you says, there is worries for a lot of the young people. But what are the kind of main worries, like when they're coming through the transition? What are they always asking you, the young people? And can you answer some of the worries in case they've not managed to ask it so far?
I wrote a wee pile of questions because I was laughing at this one. This was one of the questions that he's asked us. One of my favourites that I always get asked is if I'm going to get a first year doing, or am I getting my head flushed in the toilet? Now we all know we all get told that, and a lot of it's big sisters and big brothers who like to noise you up and make you feel scared and more worried than you already are, because they know what it's like. They know how upset they were about going. So my answer to that always is, no, it's not going to happen to you. They like to say it, and it is just about noising you up. That's the thing. The next one is, who are the best and worst teachers in the secondary schools? That's always dead hard. I don't have an answer for them for that one, to be fair. I know a lot of the teachers, but I think that people's got to meet teachers differently. And that's what I say, you go there and you give them a chance, the same way that they're giving you a chance, because you would take your behaviour to precede you at secondary school. You would take for the way you've been perceived somewhere else to go follow you. So I always say, give them a chance and you'll see, because they'll always say somebody didn't like somebody, or somebody really loved that teacher, and then they go and they're like, oh, she was crap. So that's another one. What else have we got? Will I be in the same class as my pals? This is a really hard one, because they obviously want to stay together. But obviously the thing about secondary school is that you are learning how to mix and learning how to get to know other people. So no necessarily you're not going to be with all your pals, but you will be matched up with people that you are kind of close to, and that's what the primary schools and the secondary schools work really hard to do, is make sure that you are compatible with the people that are in your classes. That kind of leads in a wee bit as well as the other thing that we do, and I think we're coming to that, aren't we? So I'll leave that bit, right?
It's just funny that you're saying some of the questions that are coming up, because I've done this thing, because we've been doing the transition work for ages, and I've been at the youth complex since dinosaurs roamed there and stuff like that. And I was doing a kind of project, and it was about generating content for a video, and it was kind of like your most common questions answered, and it was led by some of the kind of young volunteers, but it was when we had the P7s in, and it's just funny you saying some of those questions 10 years ago are exactly the same questions you've just brought up there, and will be probably the same questions 10 years down the line as well. So
definitely, because I find that, obviously every year that we're doing this, we kind of have to evolve as to the situations that arise, which is obviously what's happened this year with the kind of COVID thing and stuff like that. But I usually say, Chris, the majority of these questions are the ones that, no matter how often I go into a class, and I do know it's worked out that I'm doing like 6 different primary schools. So we've started doing like Crawford and Spittal as well, and it has been rolled out to St Mirren's, Kings Park and Kilmarnock as well. We have offered them the opportunity to be involved. but it doesn't matter how many of the classes I go into, these are always the kind of top questions that get fired at me when I go into the class. And it's amazing to see that as much as these kids don't know each other, they've all got the same worries, they've all got the same concerns. Do you know what I mean? It's madness.
So I mean, you mentioned that you're working with all those kind of different schools. So obviously, under normal circumstances, we haven't been able to run it this year for obvious reasons. But what would a normal youth complex transition program kind of look like? Can you give us a wee kind of highlights of what that kind of looks like?
So my working year starts for the second they start primary 7. As I'm in contact with the schools right away, introducing myself, coming in to visit them. We do a 3-week programme in each primary 7 class where I go and do kind of resilience, transition work. We go through all these questions that we were talking about. Loads of games, really interactive. It's no me standing there kind of giving a speech because you know that I'm rubbish at that. So
you're rubbish at speaking. No,
he taught so bad at speaking. I'm so nervous about coming on here. So we do that, and then we also offer an enhanced transition, which kind of changed a wee bit last year as well, where we were taking kind of pupils through primary 7 who maybe need a bit extra support and take them up to the actual high school. You were there when I was visiting as well, so we took them up to the high school and let them kind of get go about the school on an informal basis, meet some of the teachers, which was just a way to kind of get to know the building, get to know some people before you actually go up and into your proper visits. So we had quite a good laugh in that actually, and that's the first time we really did that. Then we move on and we do the primary 7 after school, what we call the primary 7 after school club, which every one of us has been involved in, where primary 7s come to the youth complex after school for a couple of hours, and basically they have different activities and stuff like that we would do on a normal nightly basis in our drop-in service. So they get that, and then they get involved to come with the other year groups on a Friday night. We had added that in kind of for June onwards, and for the end of June they become first years, and then they're full-time members, so they can come as much as they like. This year's obviously been really different.
That is totally different for them, obviously, with the situation that's gone on and all like that. Because they can't get to the youth right now, what kind of support is there for them right now that you know of in the schools or in the community or from us at the youth complex?
Well, I can't go into the schools yet, just because a lot of the schools are only allowing external visitors. So I've not been able to do what I would usually do in the sense of coming to do the 3 weekly kind of visit things. Hopefully I get in to do that shortly. With regards to ongoing support, their own schools actually do transition stuff anyway. That is part of what they do. But we're also now looking at when we can eventually start opening back up. The first years that missed out in the primary 7 programme will be invited to come to the youth complex in kind of smaller groups and get to kind of, it'll be me that's leading that, gets to spend some time with us and get to know a wee bit about what we actually do. We did during the summer as well, though, do lockdown lunch. I know you spoke about this in the podcast during summer, and we invited the new S1s to come and do that. And obviously we've got in both high schools, we've got you, Lee, Kelly and Michael in St Margaret Mary's, who do an awful lot of work with the S1s, and I'm working jointly with obviously UC as well to find out who needs a bit extra help out with. So they'll probably be the first ones that I'll maybe begin a wee nudge to and saying, hiya, come visit me. We've also got the Facebook group, which is the CYC P7s Club, which I will be rolling out shortly to see if we can get the new P7s to start adding us in, getting them onto their Instagram and stuff like that as well. TikTok, who's obviously you described this earlier as well, so I want to do that. And I think probably what I'll be doing, because it's going to be less chance of being able to visit, is that we'll be trying to do kind of visits and slideshows and stuff that I can maybe send to the schools and let them see kind of what we do when I can get in and see them. So lots of stuff.
Although we kind of get into the complex and you kind of get to the schools, it's great that there still is all that support provided from the complex, from the community and from the schools, because it's really important, like you were saying at the start, especially in a year like this, I suppose. I think it's the most important in a year like this.
Aye, definitely. And I think that's where we found it really strange, because this would be your time of getting to know like the new first year, you know, that at the end of the school years when we get to know the new first years and bring them in and kind of bring them into the kind of CYC family sort of thing and stuff. So that's been really strange this year. You don't feel like if you know anybody,
Aye.
which is a shame.
Mm-hmm.
So, but aye, still lots going on in the background.
Aye. Exciting stuff coming up as well. Like we were discussing before you came on, Stacey, how this is like, well, we've not actually told you, I don't think. This is the start of season 2 of the Milk Round, so it is. So you are the first guest on season 2 of the Milk Round.
Look, me being all honoured, thanks.
Aye. But we've got exciting stuff coming up for the Milk Round, but also, like you're saying, for the complex. Fingers crossed we can get it. We're just waiting on government guidelines to see when we can actually open and to what extent and stuff like that. But keep your eyes peeled. I know there is people really excited to get back. We are really excited to have you back as well. We're missing you lots and lots. Aye, somebody to see you in the school or around the community, but it just isn't the same as being in the building.
It's really no the same, and to know you just as much as you can be drove nuts at times when you are all in the youth and stuff like that. It's definitely something I'm missing loads. It's been too long, far too long.
Yep, agreed. Have we got anything else to ask?
It was just on the back of what we're saying there. So we are obviously trying to kind of modify things as best we can under the kind of current circumstances. So I think we should also mention that there's a new online membership process, which you will be able to find the details on all our social medias. If I can put my hand to it when this video goes up, I'll put a link on there. But just it's probably a way for us to catch all of those missed new first years as well, because we will have probably missed quite a few of them. And it's a really useful process to go through that membership process, because when we do eventually open, then we need to have that in place for you to be at the youth complex anyway. So
I think it's worth saying with that as well, that the reason that we're doing it kind of digitally now is that it's to kind of prevent the touching a paper and stuff. Usually it would be a hard paper copy and we would keep that and stuff, so now it's getting done digitally. But I think that we discussed it, we were going to kind of it will be getting shared over the social medias and stuff like that, and if MD needs it and can't get access, they can send us an email or whatever and we can get it sent to you. So there'll be different ways to do it.
Aye, and we'll discuss all the social medias again at the end, so you've got to keep watching to the end, because we're still to tell you our exciting guest for next week as well. And there's a big part of the podcast that I don't know if Stacey knows about, but she probably does. It's the quiz versus Chris. Do you know about it, Stacey? When you're a guest on the Milk Round, you have to go up against the champion.
And I'm getting it in the neck. I'm meant to beat him, so here we go.
I bet
if I beat you, I'm taking that.
I bet you've got Kirsty in the room with you, who's like on Google checking all the answers.
No. She'll be phoning me in a minute.
It's always the one with glasses. You can tell a mile off because the shine of the phone screen.
I'm not going to cheat there. My phone there.
Right, okay.
Fair enough. I believe Stacey. So we've got an exciting quiz this week. I made this for my family. It was like during lockdown when we were doing all the Zoom quizzes and stuff like that, and it was one of the favourite ones that I made up. It's almost like around Richard Osman's House of Games. I don't know if any of you watched that. It's just all like wee quirky quizzes and stuff like that. But this one is called Rhyme Time. So with this, there's 10 questions, so you'll get 5 questions each, and every answer is a 2-word answer. I'm just checking that 2-word answer. Aye, that rhymes. So, as challenger, Stacey, would you like to go first or second?
First.
First. Oh, I like it. Put the pressure on him.
Get it and done with.
Stacey, are you ready to face the champion at rhyme time?
Yeah.
Right. Question 1. Which rocker stars in Gulliver's Travels and Natural Libra?
Jack Black.
1-0. You've got competition here, Chris. You've got competition. Okay. Question 2 goes to you then, Chris.
Okay.
Which song made famous by Little Richard contains the lyrics, "Got a girl named Daisy, she almost drives me crazy"? He's
He's
singing
singing it in his
his
heat.
head. Yep. Has he got it? Oh no, he's getting to a point where it's just not clicking. For those of you
It's
just
the
listening,
name of the song is something different to what's in the song, I think, though. That's the problem that I'm encountering.
right? Okay,
Oh, I'm going to kick myself, aren't I?
I think so. We're no having
Right, just
technical
a pass. On you
Chris
go.
just doesn't
On
know
you
it.
go.
You're
Dead
passing,
air.
okay. So let's agree, if the person passes, do you want it to pass over to the other person for a chance of a point, or?
That's the way we've done it before.
Okay, Stacey, do you know the answer?
Tutti frutti.
Tutti Frutti is correct.
But 2-0.
He goes 2-0 up with the chance to go 3 up with this
Oh.
next question. Stacey, question 3. Which 2002 movie stars Bow Wow as an orphan who finds shoes which he believes to be Michael Jordan's and becomes a world-class sports star?
No, don't know this.
Yeah. No, got it. You passing?
No, I'm passing.
Okay. Chris, do you know it?
I hardly know who Little Bow Wow is, to be honest.
I've never heard of it myself, to be honest. So, nah, it doesn't rhyme, so it can't. It's definitely not going to work. Space Jam
What
was
were
the
you
only
gonna
one I had.
That's one I was thinking.
You want to answer then?
Go
It
for
is
it.
Like Mike.
Never heard of it.
Never
He
seen it.
finds these trainers that have MJ on them, and he says, "Make me like Mike, make me like Mike, make me like Mike." And he's like 4'4", and he starts like slam dunking it and all that. It's just a terrible movie, but it works
It
for him.
rhymes.
Chris, question 4 to get one back here. Which clown is the mascot of a famous chain of fast food restaurants?
Oh, Ronald McDonald.
Ronald McDonald is correct. 2-1. Stacey, question 5 goes to you. Which American chain of convenience stores is also the name of a Beyonce song?
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, she is good. She's got it. It's 3-1. Chris, the pressure is on.
It is.
Question 6. Which ABBA hit starts with a line which mentions our hometown?
Super Trooper.
Super Trooper is correct. Do you know the line at the start?
Something
When I saw you
in
last night in
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
I mean, Angela was probably better at singing, Chris, when we're doing the lyrics. Cause okay, so that's 3-2. 3-2. Is it 3-2? Am I right? Aye, okay. Question 7 goes to you, Stacey. In which Tarantino movie would you find the character The Bride? And I know there's a steal ready here.
I can tell his face.
Aye. It's just because the movie podcast last week we both spoke about Tarantino.
That's cheating then. Kill Bill.
That was like, just pluck that out there.
It literally did.
4-2, so
I was getting one back there, Lee, but
I know. I thought it was coming. Chris, are you ready?
So did I.
Question 8. Which former basketball player stars in movies Grown Ups 2, Scary Movie 4, and The Lego Movie?
Is it Shaquille O'Neal?
Shaquille O'Neal is correct. You guys are good at this. You would have done well if you were in my family quiz in lockdown. Stacey, to win it.
No pressure, Lee.
I know. Question 9. Released in June 1986, which Madonna album contains the songs Papa Don't Preach and Where's the
True
Party?
Blue.
Oh!
Season
Did
2.
I win?
Season 2 has started.
Oh. Oh
Chris,
my
you
goodness.
can bring that
Yes.
up, thank you.
We'll just edit it out. Don't worry about it. We're the hosts. We can edit it
Yeah.
out. Stacey, can we get a picture of you being sad right now? Can you just do this?
No,
So
not at all.
on the list.
After all the weeks he hadn't beaten everybody.
See,
No.
the thing is as well, I wouldn't have got that question, I don't think, as well. I don't think I would have been able to pull that album name out.
Right. Okay.
So it was a well-deserved victory.
Aye, definitely. So
Belts in the post, Stacey,
Belts in
but
the post.
that means you're
Thank
going to
you.
have to come back each week to defend it now, though.
All right.
Thank you, Will.
No, I'll leave that to you. I'll just take my victory at the beginning of season 2. That's all good.
Aye, season 2 starts off with a challenge.
And I'll gloat because I bet you.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll put the last question at tease just to see if you know it and to see if any of our listeners want to try the last question. So in the Still Game episode, Scone, what does Tam reply when Bobby asks him to give a slogan for Toblerone?
Swiss Bliss.
Wow. Were
We've
you
got a
in
new
my-
champion here, man. New champion here.
Were you in my Zoom quiz when I was doing this with the
Maybe you sent me them.
Well done, Steve. That is a true
I wouldn't have
championship.
got that. I would not have got that either. So I'm just putting that out there. So
Aye.
I had to get that. Dino Thornton would have been after my blood if I didn't get that.
Aye, probably. So hats off to you, Stacey. We just want to say a big thank you to you as well for coming on. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
Aye, I did. I was honestly really nervous
Right, okay.
because you know that I really hate talking and stuff. So
Aye.
it's such a hard thing for me. But no, it's been great. It's been good to have a chat. So
Aye. Glad to have you on.
thanks for having me.
Hopefully we can get you on again at some point in the future.
I suppose I can
she'll
beat him
need
again.
to.
It'll be
She'll
great
need
fun.
to get on. She'll need to get on to defend the championship. We didn't mention the Prizely, the new co-host of the Milk Run now. Yeah.
Aye, that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Congratulations, Stacey.
Oh, but you just passed the baton on to me there, thanks.
But that
You
comes
get
with
bet
the
and I
edit.
cop it.
You have to edit as well, so you do. That means
No,
That's
no.
it. No, yeah.
All right, we'll kid on to one then.
I know. It's no bad. Get to week 17 though, eh? Week 17.
good.
It's no
That's
bad.
something.
It's no
Aye.
bad.
To be honest, when you said it rhymed, I was like, no chance, I'm not getting any of this. So it's not bad.
I'm gutted about the Little Richard one. That was the one that I really should have got.
That turned it, so it did.
I think I was shocked at the Kill Bill one. That literally just came in at the last
No, I think
second.
that was another kind of championship winning moment, was pulling that out there, because I was ready to jump in on that one.
You can see the eyes doing that.
So if for next week you'll be facing a new challenger, Chris, because we're going to have a new guest that we spoke about at the start. It's a really exciting guest. It's a guy from the community who's got a great story to tell, great story to share with us. He's written his own book about his story as well, and we're going to have a great chat with him. So for the people who have stuck around to hear who our guest is next week, thanks very much. Next week, Chris, do you want to introduce who we're going to have on?
Yeah, as you said, fantastic story to tell, and does a lot of work in the community now. It's James Toner. He's going to talk probably a bit about his book, but also a bit about the work that he's been doing recently with us in the last year. So yeah, this next week is definitely one not to miss. It's an amazing story if you've never heard about it, and that's all I'll say on it right now.
Aye, excellent.
So really good guest to have.
Aye, season 2 started well for the guests with a win from Stacey and a brilliant interview. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Let's see how the guests get on next week. If you want to get us on any social medias, you can get us on.
Oh, you just caught me unawares, Lee, but it doesn't matter, because on Facebook it's Kelly Youth Complex Staff, Twitter Youth Complex CYC, Instagram youth_complex, and TikTok Kelly Youth Complex, and you can drop us an email at cycyouthteam@gmail.com. I think I'm just a wee bit shell-shocked from my defeat there. I think that's all it is.
Please remember to like the video and subscribe, guys. Click the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next week with our new guest, James Toner. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Cheers. Bye.